Well, Donald Trump and Elon Musk held a joint press conference in the Oval Office, and it went about as well as you'd expect. We'll get into some of the substance, including Elon going, we'll be wrong. We'll tell lies. Yeah. Now, he doesn't call them lies. He says we'll be incorrect. But when we examine what it is that he admits he was wrong about, I think it'll become very clear. By the way, throw that back up on screen, Jaden. Look at Stephen Miller's face. Stephen Miller is known as a uniquely villainous figure. You can full screen that so they can see Jaden. And it almost looks like he's looking at Elon Musk's son, not understanding how to sympathize with a human being. What is he doing? He is distracting. Which, by the way, Elon bringing in the sun, look, it's all cutesy and fun, and we're just having a good time. You're talking about matters of national and international security and well-being. Don't bring your son into this. Oh, look, I'm all silly and goofy with my son. He's on my shoulders. Let's take this seriously and not bring your son just sort of for imagery into it. That kind of bothered me. But let's jump into this first clip that I referenced of him admitting he will be incorrect from time to time on very consequential things. While you watch, please do click the subscribe button if you appreciate these breaking news updates.
Ms. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza.
Oh, by the way, sorry, throw that off before this full question. Observations, then I'll stop. Look, what is this color? I saw people commenting on it. He is turning a unique shade of neon orange today. So you can enjoy that as well.
Ms. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there. Yeah. And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000. I mean, we will make mistakes, but we'll act quickly to correct any mistakes. I'm not sure we should be sending $50 million worth of condoms to anywhere, frankly. I'm not sure that's something Americans would be really excited about.
No, see, you're missing the point. You all still haven't explained how you fabricated that claim. So people are speculating. Is this referencing as a part of a broader comprehensive approach to address HIV investments in other parts of the world that aren't the figures they were mentioning and people are just speculating, trying to figure out what it is that caused this claim that went from 50 and then that didn't sound like enough. So they did do 100 million to Gaza for condoms. And it is now incumbent on you to explain, was it just an outright lie? Did you get confused? Did you misunderstand a word in a budget somewhere? Because you're lying, but then those lies are consequential because they end up being what you point at as justification to shut down USAID. Life-saving treatments to people are just being cut off. And an important initiative for furthering our global relationships and our global interests. You're saying get rid of it altogether because you made a mistake? Oh, no, but it's still justified because we found all this other stuff. Well, to bring forward the evidence. And bring forward the evidence that whatever it is you think you found, which you're mainly lying about, is so overwhelming that you should get rid of something altogether instead of just correcting. So, absolutely insane that his response would be, well, no one bats 1,000. No, but that was the claim. As recently as last night, Eric Trump was on TV using different numbers to describe the same lie. That's the claim y'all have brought forward over and over again. Probably the one I've heard the most commonly. And actually, you can bat 1,000 when it comes to telling the truth. And the only way you could have spit that out, in my assessment, is if someone lied somewhere in your chain. Then Elon Musk is asked here about conflicts of interest given that his own companies benefit from government grants. And he doesn't seem to be targeting those.
The White House says that you will identify and excuse yourself from any conflicts of interest that you may have. Does that mean that you are in effect policing yourself? What are the checks and balances that are in place to ensure that there is accountability and transparency?
Well, we actually are trying to be as transparent as possible. In fact, we post our actions to the Doge handle on X and to the Doge website. So all of our actions are maximally transparent. In fact, I don't think there's been, I don't know of a case where an organization has been more transparent than the Doge organization.
What? Sometimes I think they say things like that to rub it in our face that they're lying. Oh, one more thing on the previous clip. They've not come out up until this point and admitted that that was a false statement they made. So you can't go, well, we make mistakes, but we correct our mistakes. You don't, though. And you're taking illegal actions to shut down agencies because of lies you're telling. And then on what he just said there, he's saying we're being so transparent. And so you don't have to worry about our conflicts of interest because we're posting on Doge, on X. No, you're posting what you want to post, what you feel, and often it's manipulated, distorted information. It's just a PR account. That's not the same as being transparent with your potential conflicts of interest or with what it is that you're doing day to day. Here's a follow-up on that same question.
If you have received billions of dollars in contracts from the Pentagon, and the president's directing you to look into the Department of Defense, is that a conflict of interest?
And are going to do at the president's request.
Does that present a conflict of interest for you?
No, because you'd have to look at the individual contract and say, first of all, I'm not the one, filing the contract. It's people at SpaceX or someone who will be putting for the contract. And I'd like to say, if you see any contract where where it was awarded to SpaceX and it wasn't by far the best value for money for the taxpayer, let me know, because every one of them was.
So that's it, right? When it's the billionaires' companies that's benefiting from the federal investments. Those aren't going to be inefficient investments, please. This is my companies. But when it's investments in basic necessities for people, oh yeah, that's not efficient enough for Elon. But if you could prove to me that these contracts weren't worth it, then we'll take a look. But I noticed that those aren't the types of grants he's starting with. He'll cut off investments in medical research at NIH, but it don't start with his companies. But also, I'm not the one who actually filed those contracts. But I do know them well enough to say that they're perfect and that it wasn't any waste of money. Which I'm not even saying that those shouldn't have been things he got. A lot of investments in innovation have benefited our country and the world that the United States government has engaged in. But his priorities as to where he thinks we should start saving the money tells you a lot. And his support for Trump's plan to cut taxes even more for those at the very tip top tells you a lot about his priorities. He also just lied. He doesn't bat 1,000. Bat 0, it seems. And here he lies about how Trump won.
Detractors, Mr. Musk.
I have to what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. The public voted, we have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House.
No, a majority did not vote for Trump. A plurality did, more than the number of people that voted for Kamala Harris. He won the popular vote, but he didn't get a majority. It's so interesting how the genius, as we're told, the genius of all geniuses, doesn't even know what the actual election result was. By the way, remember, I've said it before, you can be really, really intelligent in in certain areas. You can know a lot and be really proficient in certain areas and also not actually be that great at political analysis. There are a lot of people that are geniuses in certain areas. And I do think Elon Musk has a lot of intelligence in certain areas. And also he clearly, some would say because he just isn't really politically proficient, or he's willingly sort of misleading people, which is why these moments of a lack of clarity come through, because underlying it is just a grab for power. So maybe he'll make points to defend Trump or to defend what they're doing, and it sounds like, wait, does he not know what he's talking about? He might know what he's talking about, even on politics. He just has more malicious aims, which we seem to be watching play out, and his defense of them comes out a little bit weak. Then Trump also had some questions directed towards him.
Judge is an activist judge, wants to try and stop us from doing this. Why? Why would they want to do that? I campaigned on this. I campaigned on the fact that I said government is corrupt. And it is very corrupt. It's very, very, it's also foolish.
Okay. I want to restate something too. What you're going to hear a lot in the coming months, years, is, wait, why can't we make the government more efficient? Wait, why can't we weed out fraud and abuse? And no matter how many times they repeat that, it doesn't refute two truths. The first being, regardless of what you're finding or think you're finding, you can't just unilaterally shut down entire parts of our government. That's just not an executive branch authority. You'd have to do so in coordination with Congress, with the approval of Congress. So that's number one. And then as judges are telling him to stop, he's not. So you're just not abiding by our entire system of government. That's the first really important point. The second one is you absolutely should go out and see if you can find fraud, abuses, wastes of money. Great. Everyone should support that. You just happen to be really bad at it if there is all those things at the level you say, because you're not bringing forward evidence of it. And when you do, it's either out of context, distorted, or an utter and complete lie. So, number one, even if you found all the things you're saying, doesn't mean you can just shut down entire organizations. But you're not finding the stuff that you say you're finding, as of now. So this is not about you can't look for, you can. You just can't break the law while doing it. And you don't need to break the law to look. Audit the heck out of your organizations, great. Out of the federal government, great. But that doesn't mean you just start unconstitutionally, again, ending federal organizations without the authority to. Share your thoughts in the comments.